Y'all got a little inside music time while we waited for YouTube to pick up. All right. Well, happy Wednesday. It's Noonie with Single with No Filter. I had to switch. I had to switch my mindset. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. If you are returning, welcome back. If you are new to Single with No Filter, hey, welcome in. It's just a podcast, a friendly podcast about my crazy life, what I've encountered, what I've endured, and how I've gotten through certain scenarios and situations. So come on in. It's unscripted. I never know what I'm going to say. Half of the time, I pick the topic out before the live starts, but I have a topic today. It was a conversation that came about a couple of times throughout the week, and it's just things that's been going on in the area that I live in, and I just want to talk about it. I am not a therapist. Mm-mm. I am not any type of counselor, licensed or unlicensed, none of that. I'm not a counselor. I am not giving you advice. However, I am speaking to you from my perspective, okay? I'm talking about what I've been through, what I've endured, and again, hey Miami, what I've done to overcome it. So I feel like that I've been through certain situations and I'm here so you don't have to go through it. Um a lot of people get into their feelings when they go through situations and scenarios and they feel like they're in it alone. Like, why is this happening to me? I'm just here to let you know that you don't go through it by yourself. You don't have to go through it by yourself. Everybody goes through something, some way, shape, or form. And a lot of the times we all go through the same thing in different ways. Thank you, sis. We all go through it, but I'm here with Single with No Filter so we can all get through it together. You don't have to stay going through something. We're gonna get through everything and we're gonna get through it together. Sometimes it's just having a listening ear, somebody to hear you out, all of that good stuff. And so just be mindful with Single with No Filter. We're gonna laugh because y'all know I'm a little goofball. We're gonna be expressive with our emotions. I just ask that you're respectful to whoever comes on the panel, um, and whoever wants to share their stories. We're gonna have testimonies, and 100% we are going to cry. Okay. And I say that because although I've gone through these scenarios, I've gotten through some of them. Some of them are fresh, and I've gotten through them. I have to relive these moments when I come here. So not every time is it going to be happy, happy, joy, joy. Because sometimes reliving the moment, it takes me back, and I have to relive it all over again and go through it all over again. So I have to reprocess my feelings. So get your tissues, get your drinks, get whatever you're gonna get, because we're gonna go through it and we're gonna go through it single with no filter and we're gonna go through it together. That being said, go ahead, be responsible with it. Grab your drink of choice, water, tea, Kool-Aid, milk, ABCs, one, two, threes, whatever you want to drink, just be responsible. If you see something, I see someone. If you hear something that you agree with, you done been through, you're going through it, or you can relate in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and drop a glass in the comments and say, I'll drink to that. Be responsible. Because sometimes I have to remind myself to stop drinking to that. The points be pointing sometimes. So just go ahead and we're gonna kick off the topic of men and violence and the roles that women play. So I'll go through my little spiel for a little bit. Then I'll open up the panel so we can have an open discussion of it. We want to stay on topic, be respectful. YouTube, I will disconnect YouTube after a while because sometimes we go a little deep into TikTok. Just go ahead, follow on TikTok and TikTok. Go ahead, follow on YouTube so you can watch these videos back. Okay, it's a follow. Okay, all right, bounce it back. All right, so let's get into the goods. One, I want everybody to start off by sharing the live for me. Go ahead and share out the live. Can I get at least uh 10 shares out here, please. And the reason that I ask you to share, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, the reason I ask you to share is because you never know what somebody is going through that's close to you. They're not going to listen to you because they're going to feel like you're coming from a judgmental perspective. But they might listen to somebody else that don't know them, don't know their situation or what they've been through or going through. So it's important to share the live because you never know who the story is going to reach and who I can help along the way. Because that's all I'm here for, is to help and to be a guide in some way, shape, or form and keep a positive mindset. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm excited about today's topic because I'm sorry. I knew I was gonna have to turn it down. It touches on so many different avenues. And I honestly, like I said, this is unscripted. I don't know where to start because I have so much to say. There's been a lot of violence going around in the area that I live in and throughout the world. It's not just the area thing, but I'm particularly talking about the area that I've been in. I don't even watch the news anymore. If I see it on one of the social media sites, there's always a crime. There's always some type of violence that occurred, and it be our black men. Now, like I said, I didn't go over that part. Single with no filter is not just for women. Okay, it's by a woman because I can relate because I'm a woman, but it's also for men. It's also for it doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're bi, if you're poly, it doesn't matter who you are. The live is for everybody because everybody can take something away from the topics that I have. Like I said, I'm speaking from my perspective, which is a woman's perspective. I'm speaking to the men because you can see some of your actions and behaviors that led me to do some of the things that I've done. So, and I've had a lot of feedback from men with my podcast that you'll be surprised of that have reached out to me and was like, Noonie, you was on point. You said some real stuff. So I don't be afraid to share it out to men as well as women. It's like I said, it's for everybody. And I am off angled. I can't get situated to get it, guys. I'm sorry. Oop, there go my light. Team's doing too much. In effect. And I ain't even started drinking today yet. And I'm acting up. All right, let me see. Is that better? All right. It's got to get better. All right. I'm gonna have to hold something manually. I need me a new iPad stand. All right. Oh, y'all see my Chick-fil-A in the back. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better view. Okay. Yeah, you want to act up? I got too excited. Let's get this topic popping. Yeah, I'm gonna have to lean back a little bit. All right, so men and violence and the role that women play. And now I'm going to speak to you from a motherly perspective, a girlfriend perspective, and a friend perspective. To me, molding your son starts at an early age. It starts when they're young. I was the mother that did not allow my sons to play with guns. Um, I didn't allow them to really participate in violence. They knew how to handle themselves. That's different. We're gonna get into self-defense. But I didn't want to introduce them to violence as a fun way of life as a young child. I just don't think that it's appropriate to teach them that guns Oh, wait, I forgot I'm on here. That pew pews are that they're fun. There's nothing fun about them. Is nothing fun about them. They're very dangerous. So at an early age, if you have sons, whether you're a single father, single mother, or auntie or uncle or grandparent, if you are raising a child, don't teach them that there's fun in violence because they're not going to understand the severity of it as they get older. You know how you see most kids want to play cops and robbers and cowboys. Okay, but have a discussion. Be able to have a discussion with your child if you're bringing that type of weaponry around into their lifestyle. Just be prepared to do that. Um Going into an older perspective, and this is why I really wanted to do the topic. Women, we can be something else. I'll drink to that. And I'm not even drinking today because today is the day. So I got me some lemonade, but I'll drink to that. Um, yeah, we can be quite the handful. We can put a lot of pressure on our men, whether it's our young sons, somebody we're dating, or somebody we're married to. We put a lot of pressure on them to be our protector. I'll drink to that. I just drank to that, but I'll drink to that again. And I say that because growing up, like my daddy was daddy. He was the provider of the household, the protector of the household, as a man should be. As a man should be. Women, stop trying to take that role away from men. Let that man be the protector and the provider. We won't get into that a whole another day. But he was the protector and the provider. And I never once seen my mother make him be aggressive. I done heard stories of, he don't play about you type stories, which your man should not play about you. But it's a point in time in today's society, especially, where you have to draw the line on what and when your man should step up and to protect you. And that's what I want to talk about today. So I think I'm putting my filter on and I need to stop. Um, Maybe this is too fresh for me to talk about. As women, now don't get me wrong, I was the type of person I love. I didn't even put an ED on that. I love me a manly man, a rough man, a aggressive when needed man. I love that macho man. What MC Light used to say, if it ain't rough, it ain't right. And if it ain't rough, then it's all wrong for the light. Yeah, like that was me. Get a rough neck. I had to have me a rough neck. You name it. If you look back at it, won't many of them, but my history, like they all got that classification. None of them was like the white collar worker. None. No, I need some shifty, low down, gritty and grimy. Like I needed that manly man. I'm not even gonna hold you. I like what I like, and I still like the grimy man. But now I like a grimy man with balance. Like it's time to grow up. Okay, I'll drink to that. So I say that because we put a lot of pressure on our men to be our protector. And today's society, I want my man to be protective to himself. I want my man to be able to know when to walk away and when to fight a battle. I want my man, as single as I am, if you're out there, boo, listen, I got you. I got your back. I want my man to come home to me at nights, in the day, and in the middle of the day, every day. I want him to come home because he not only has to fight the streets, but he has to fight the system. So we're gonna bounce between childhood and adulthood. So as a woman, you're raising your son. You want to raise him to be a man. You want to raise him to be a protector. You don't want to raise him to the point where somebody's gonna be able to push him around. Give your son a backbone. It's okay to give him a backbone. But when it stops not being okay is when you try to downgrade his character because he's not defending you the way you think he should defend you. And I'll drink to that. And I'm going to say that again. Sometimes as women, we downgrade these men because we feel like they're not manning up to the situation that they're in. There was a news article a couple of years ago that young lady and the man, they were out walking, just had a nice dinner, nice little date and all that good stuff. And some guy walked past her and disrespected her or whatever. And she was like, "You ain't gonna do nothing? You ain't gonna do nothing?" Egging him on to continue the beef. So he had to do what? He had to man up and protect his woman. You ain't gonna talk about my girl like that. You're not gonna be disrespectful, X, Y, Z, 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 Z. Not knowing the other guy was ready for the BS. Had the pew pew. Y'all can't figure out where that story went to. But all of that could have been avoided without her putting that 2 cent in. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. He said words don't hurt. They bounce off and keep the fuck on going. But now your man isn't here. He can't do anything for you now. So as women, we have to stop instigating our man to be a man. Because the older you get, like I said a minute ago, a man is a man who knows how to come home at night. Everything is not worth fighting for. I have to tell this to my sons. I have to tell it to my cousins. I'm like, look, you got these females out here. They out here putting themselves out here. But they want you to fight their battle. We can't do that. Because you got to come home to me. You got to put you first and that situation last. Put it behind you. I can't stress it enough to say this. If y'all can tell, this is a hard topic, and I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing with the filter. I am, because I'm trying not to cry, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm just reliving something. Yeah, pushing your man or a man to be the thug. We old. Thugging ain't cute. Thugging is not cute anymore. It actually was not cute back then, but it is what it is. You go through that little phase. But it's not cute. You should not want your young child to mimic thug behavior. And I know you say classify what's thug behavior. Thug behavior can be anything. And it's not the way you dress. It's not the way you dress. It's how you carry yourself. So when you hear somebody classifying somebody in thug behavior, what's your first image? Probably saggy pants, boots, all that good stuff. No, it's some CEO thugs. It's classified by behavior. So we have to learn to differentiate. I'm sorry, let me get my little stuff together. I didn't put on nothing just for this. We have to learn to differentiate the battles we put our men in. And I keep saying it like that because I have a lot of male friends, and speaking to a lot of male friends, I've heard more than one of them say, knowing that I just had to because I didn't want her to think I was no punk. I didn't want her to think I was weak. I didn't want her to think, and everything revolved around the imagery that a woman projected upon them. That shouldn't be why you have to fight your own battles. Like I just don't get that. Growing up, I've never put a man in that position. Maybe it's something I don't understand. I've never put a man in the position to put his life in jeopardy. Because I can tell you the way they set up now, they can fight, but that won't be the end of it no more. Today's society don't know how to put an end to the violence. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. If you want to go out to the club, have a good time, go do that. Remember, we used to be in the club, people step on your shoes. Oh, you stepped on my shoes. It's on. You must want something. Yeah, no, that was me too. Step on the shoes if you want to. But again, you get to a certain age where it's time to grow up out of that mentality. Stop pushing these men to the streets. Stop pushing these men to their graves. I'm gonna have to open these panels up because I'm about to cry. Um, Stop pushing them to their graves. I can't say that enough. If you want the best for your man, if you want your man to be the provider and the protector that he should be, you give him the love and the support that he needs. You give him the love and the support that he needs. You be there for him. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had a memory flashback. Whew. Y'all thought I would have had today to be cute. I would have had today to hide because I knew this is gonna be hard today. Um, yeah, so let's just have a open conversation because I don't think I can quite go into story time today like I planned on going into. So yeah, everything around me is pink, napkins and all. But yeah, we could just gonna open up this discussion and talk about the roles as a woman that you've projected out there and what dangerous situations could have been avoided um by better alternative routes. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get this thing open because yeah, I can't do this alone today. You want to join the panel and come up, just put a flame in the chat, um or send in a request. Ooh, not just the tears, y'all got me on live with a snotty nose. Wait a minute. um it's a touchy topic. I have relived something while I was saying a key point. Yeah, and it just made me flash back to something that happened and somebody that I lost. So that's why the tears, Pookie. That's that's why the tears. Um, and it all of a sudden got hot. But yeah, I'm good. Like I said in the beginning, I have to relive these topics when I bring them to y'all. So sometimes y'all gonna get the tears. Um, turn this up. Y'all gonna get the raw, the unfiltered me. That's why it's called single with no filter. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it so I can divert my thoughts. Hey, Patty Kayla.
Hey, 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 out. Shoot. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Heavy, heavy, heavy on the heart tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. We are what, a month in, just about bringing single with no filter back. Just about.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I didn't make all the key points that I wanted to make. Um, but we just gonna talk about it. Like, women play a big role into these situations men end up in. I'm not even gonna say put themselves in, that they end up in. Um, and we just gotta do better. From, like I said, from our sons to the men we're in a relationship or married to, we just have to do better. We have to stop putting them in harm's way for us to feel safe. At some point, we have to be their protector instead of them being our protector. Overall, yeah, they're our protector, but if we don't have nothing there to protect, then what happens?
You just out.
You just what, go on to the next? He can't. So we have to
Yeah.
stop putting our men in these violent situations. Um, like you have sons, you have a husband. I can imagine you saying, "Oh, this and so did this. Go get him."
Nah.
Like,
I
and that's what I hear a lot of these, especially the middle-aged young girls, putting their men in these situations like this. Like, he disrespected me. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna say nothing yet. I don't want you to.
sometimes it's best to walk away. I don't care if that makes you a punk, then that makes you a punk. It is what it is. I'd rather you walk away and then be home with your family the next day.
Right. You're taking people away from their kids, from their other loved ones.
Yeah, and that's the sad situation. I haven't personally dealt with that. I mean, it could have been times that I could have sit my listen. My brother. Let me tell you something. I don't need to send no flag for my brother because if my brother know, I have to, I have to, call the National Guard to get him off. Let me tell you something. My brother, my dad. Let me tell you
I want to
something.
get a
I don't
man
gotta
here.
send no flag. If they know something, they about the it's about that life, right?
Right.
So
Have a
I would
space.
never, and it could have been a lot of situations where I could be like, I'm going to get my brother. And again, luckily, I was younger than my brother, so coming up in the hood, and certain guys try to act funky. I ain't even had to say nothing. People on the side was like, "Don't mess with her because that's so and so brother." But I would have never even put my brother in that situation because I know how people are. But there was a situation back in the days where it was a guy and a girl. They were dating. They stay fighting all the time, and getting back together. And these are the situations that happen. You fight, you get back together. And the girl went told her nephew. Her nephew went and hollered at the dude. Mind you, cut to 2 months later down the line, everybody thinking, oh, they back together. It was just a little spat. That dude remembered that the nephew went and hollered at him and off, head off,
Mm-hmm.
head off on the block. Literally, I was just down there with that dude, arguing with that dude about something. I was like, let me go upstairs and then later, literally 20 minutes later, somebody told me, yo, so and so head off. And all because 2 months ago, the girl told the cousin that the dude, mind you, at this point, the girl and the dude is back together, but he don't give crap that your cousin,
Right. You
that's his
came at
cousin.
me.
That cousin came at me. So she should have, especially if you know ain't nothing real gonna happen, especially if you know you gonna get back with this dude. Now you with the dude, but your cousin going, your nephew going, your family member going, your
Hey,
husband going.
Tara.
Like it's. it's not worth it. Like I'm like, yo, you could be a punk. I'll tell my husband, right? My husband would never. My husband would be that guy, like, yo, who the fuck is you talking to? Excuse my language, but and I would have to be like, nah, 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 let's go.
Right.
Let's
And
go.
that's what I tell people. Like, if you are, like I said, I'm either talking to whether it's your child or relationship, but if you have that man in your life, you need to be a focus point. Like, you need to be able to, if he's at the highest level that he's seeing rage, you need to be able to stand in front of him and he can see clearly without you saying a thing.
Be
You
his
need
center.
to you need to be his center. You need to be his balance. You need to be able to calm him down with just a touch. You need to be able to remind him what he has in front of him versus what he's about to lose behind you.
Now I don't know how true this is, but that case example, and it was a light situation. But again, allegedly, I don't know how true this is. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. That's a situation where they say she looked at him like, you gonna let him talk to me like that? And he went up there and smacked the man in the face. What you go up there and smack the man in his face for?
Right.
What you gonna do that for? Oh, this like you could have, you know what I mean? That wasn't a situation that you had to do. That wasn't no, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is a way lighter situation than what you're talking about here, but it's just an example how you
But it goes with the pressure that we, I'm sorry, I'm telling them they're playing the game. It didn't sound right. It goes with the pressure that we put on them. Just like you
yeah,
said, Jada looked at him and was like, "We ain't gonna do nothing." So of course he's feeling like, "All right, I gotta man up. I gotta suit up. I gotta do this. I gotta do that." Like it's so, and it's making me think about the scenario that happened a couple of weeks ago here in town, where what it was 50 people pew
I have
or
no
something
idea.
like that. And it probably was something stupid that stemmed in the club. Like, one girl literally lost her life and she don't go out, but she was in the club celebrating her brother's birthday and lost her life behind stupid stuff.
Yeah, and it's always the crossfire
Right.
too. It's always the crossfire. Like you just man, like I
And
said,
I don't want to put all the violence on pew pews, because there have been situations and scenarios where it was fist violence. Like, people have really been beaten to the end.
yeah,
Like, you never know. You can be sending your, we're gonna say, protector. We could be sending your protector out there to fight somebody, and you don't know that person's mental health. You don't know the triggers that's going through that person's mind. You don't know what's on their mind. They could been walking around for weeks with, I wish I knew I would. Like, and you're sending them into a blind fight, a blind battle.
right. And
For
then you
what?
got to think when you're fighting somebody, especially now, like you said, you don't want to always say it's the thing that we can't say, but um touching somebody, you'll also get that person. So they be like, oh, we ain't gonna him, but we just gonna beat him up. But now that nigga could be a crackhead. That nigga be on fentanyl or something. You touch him, now that fentanyl is in your system. He bleed. You don't know what's going on. He could have had some type of disease. Now you fighting him. So sometimes is you don't know what's going on. Situation happened. I work at a store. I work at a store. I worked there at night. Guy came in, racist guy. Ain't nothing but black people in the store at this point in time. He's saying all this, but he's saying it with conviction, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
saying all of this racist stuff with conviction, knowing that it's nothing but black people in here and it's females, right? And so I'm like, okay. I look at the other girl. She was like, "Oh, is he dead serious?" She was like, She said, "Do I gotta call nobody?" I said, "No. Let him talk what he gonna talk." He walked it around the store, doing whatever he doing, and he talking crap. I said he the type of person that want you to. Damn, you put me on a big screen. He the type of person that want you to call somebody and it be a big thing. I said I'm gonna let it go because when I had called my husband, like, "Yo, is a dude out here acting?" I said, "Nope, that's what 911's for." Because I'm not gonna bring my husband or
into a blind situation. And the crazy thing is, you knew he would have been there. You knew he would have showed his face, said what he had to say. But you made the right call not to put him in that situation.
Yeah, he was looking for something. So sometimes people go out there to look for something, to look for like I wish a person would like type situation. They look for that. You know what I mean? And then just just to do. You know what I mean? So we, like you said, we as women, we gotta be like, I you always can't be like, oh, my man a punk, my man a punk. If he don't fight my battles. Sometimes the fighting of the battles is walking away.
Yes.
Right? That's the fight. You already won. You won. You know? Because I'm pretty sure tell this to my kids all the time when I talk to them about a situation. They be like, "Mom, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb." No, you're not dumb. No, we're not on here saying that women are dumb or people are dumb, but you don't know what you don't know. And I guarantee you, the person that this happened to would say, I wish I had somebody to just give me an advice on this situation. I wish I didn't do that. I wish I had a second thought. So anybody coming back in here, watching this, looking at this, getting the clip from YouTube or wherever they see it, this might be their second thought to realize, like, yo, I'm not gonna send my husband, my spouse, my kid, my whoever out there in harm's way because somebody called me a bitch. Okay, fuck. My thing is fuck you. Keep it going.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna send him out there because now there's a line we gotta draw. You can't put your hands on me and do all like, but words. Okay, keep you go ahead. You got that tonight.
Exactly, especially words.
That person is going. They're gonna come across the wrong one. They're gonna come across the right one on the wrong day. It ain't got to be me today. You know what I mean? It ain't got to be me today. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, it's just I just get so tired of hearing it.
Yeah, it's sad.
I get so sick of hearing it, and then like it doesn't have any race behind it. You just hear it. You hear it throughout. Hey Miami.
Hey, ladies.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Just had to get in this closet because I guess with the weather, this bipolar weather here, somehow everything in my closet got molded up. So I'm in here trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, girl. But I'm listening. I mean, good thing I'm listening to something. I'm trying to tell you, I do not feel like being bothered with this stuff in this closet.
Don't be using me as a distraction. You better get that closet together.
I'm doing it, but I'm listening at the same time. So, but it's true what you're saying. I've never really gone through something like that. I always, like a woman, I wanted, just like you said, like I felt like if I was in a space and a man disrespect me, that either my children's father or someone had to stand up and speak for me. But yeah, so like for example, in my marriage with my ex-husband, when his colleagues called our home and the women were saying that they heard that I called out to their job, calling them all kinds of B's and H's. And he's like literally right there sitting on the couch. Like they called to speak to him, but he didn't want to speak to them. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't want to speak to them. And before I even got a chance to even like pass the phone to him, she automatically went to saying, "Oh, I heard that you call out here calling us all kind of H and hoes," and I was like, "I'm sorry. Why would I call my husband's job and disrespect his coworkers? And I don't know you all like that, so why would I call you any names like that?" So
Mm-hmm.
she didn't even care what I said. She just automatically went left, and she was like, "Oh, well, you can ask about role." And I was like, "Wait, hold up. I don't need to ask about role. Role don't need to ask about me. If you feel like you got anything on your chest, you know where I live at. So,
Mm-hmm.
you can do what you got to do with that." You understand? And he sat there the whole time on the couch biting his nails, ain't even got up like a man. I would think, that's your co-workers. I'm your wife. I'm carrying your child. You should get up and say, "Hey, man, like, what are we doing? What are y'all doing? Please don't call my house disrespecting." He didn't do none of that because he was in a bind at that point. He
Mm-hmm.
had to go back on that job and be around those women. And ain't no telling how those women treated him because he was getting write-ups. Some of them was like his superiors and stuff, his supervisors and stuff. And they were basically, like punking him around.
Mm.
They were punking him around. And it always happened with a woman, and he never stood up. I never had a man on his job disrespect me. It was always the women. And, that bothered me why he never stood up. And those were things I should have left. Like that moment, even though I was pregnant with his child, I should have left the marriage. I should have left everything because that was clearly a red flag or a sign that I was in a troubling situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I brought up. Like, you got to know the difference between him not stepping up at all and him stepping up at the right times and the wrong times.
That part.
Like, that's like the perfect scenario. Like, he chose not to step up at all.
Yeah. So that one I feel like he could have stepped in, just
Yeah.
saying get off my phone with this mess.
Right.
But
But then he had to go back. This was a woman that before I met him, he was paying her light bills and things like that.
Oh, so she was all the way in her fields,
yeah.
Right.
and
So
he should have. He should have. I made the comment uh to a friend that was messing with a married man, and I told her, I said, you have to allow him to address his wife, or vice versa. He has to. The wife needs to tell him to address the girlfriend. If he can't do that, then he not the man for you. Because a man that can't address a woman that he's been involved with means they still involved some type of way.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a tricky situation there. Like you said, in one hand, you want him to, in that scenario, you want him to step up and and protect you, because that's not a it's not in a violent situation. But on the other hand, you understand maybe why he didn't, because if he did, he went to work, he would go back to work and be retaliated against on.
Right. Right. And they did it before. They did it before, and um it was something happened, and they wrote him up. I was dropping him back and forth to work, and I noticed a difference in his attitude.
Mm.
Like when I dropped him off, there wasn't no, as a couple or husband and wife, yeah, see you later, or bye, sweetie, nothing. Like he jumped out the car like I was like a Uber or a driver. And he just had like this serious face on his face, no smile, nothing, walking in, like, and I was like really thrown off by it. Like, how you
Yeah.
switch up like that, like the way you jumped out of the car, like you had the problem with me having to drop you off, yet I'm the only one that had to drop you off. Your
Yeah, that would
car
have got
was
me
not
too.
working or whatever, and you needed me. I wasn't going to give you my car and let you drive my car back and forth, and I need my vehicle. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it also happened. He was working at a hospital temporary, like he got called in to do the shift at a hospital, and it was in Kendall. I had literally just had the baby. She was a few months old or a few weeks old or something like that, and I had my son was like 4 or something like that, 3 or 4 years old, and I drove to the Kendall Hospital to go and pick him up. And before I even got down there was this woman that was on a shift at the time. And every time I called to talk to him to find out, okay, do you want me to come now? What was happening? I couldn't get through to him. It was just one woman blocking me. So finally he called and he said, okay, you can be on your way and come and get me. So I'm on my way coming to get him, and I called to let him know I'm downstairs. And the girl, she started getting back and forth with me, and I was like, I'm not calling to do all this or whatever the case may be. Would you believe she called the police? She said she calling the police, let them know I got a pew pew, and I came there to threaten her and things like that.
Oh my God.
And I had to reach out to the Kendall Police Department and asking them that if they receive any calls from any correctional officers from the Kendall Hospital stating that someone's downstairs threatening to unalive them with a pew pew, that is a false report. I'm picking up my husband. I have my children. Please don't come to my vehicle drawing no weapons because I have no weapon. Like, I literally was pleading to the police department not to come out there and, under the assumption that I have a weapon in my car trying to hurt a law enforcement officer of what they consider them. You understand what I'm saying? And it was terrible. It was bad. And even that, he didn't even stand on and say, that's messed up. Don't do these things. Like, he couldn't stand up for himself at all. He couldn't stand up for himself at all against those women because some of those women was his superior and it was writing him up about to cost him the job. And he was so desperate not to lose that job.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's especially when it comes to like your employment. Like,
and that was sad. That was real sad for me to see him allow people to threaten your wife. And I don't know how much he had to do with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've seen that a lot in movies where right. The wife is in a situation
retaliation
and everybody was like, well, call the cops, call it this, and she's like, he is the cops. Like I've literally seen it in movies, but like to hear somebody
right.
personally.
What is it? The Jennifer Lopez? Was it the Jennifer Lopez movie?
Yep. Enough.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the movies. There's so many of them out there, but yeah, like that. That's crazy when law enforcement is involved because that is a touchy topic.
Right.
Like.
So I never after him, I said, you know what? That's that. Like, anything that falls along those lines where they will have that kind of power and control to manipulate the system, even a government employee, I want nothing to do with them. I'm sorry. I might be missing out on Mr. Right. Yeah. And, God sent. But
that's a lot to go through. And then to put yourself through it again, knowing what the situation or outcome could be, that's a lot.
Because even government employees had to manipulate their title and I done had too many of them manipulate their title and their job position and was able to get police reports and all kinds of things on me. And I didn't do anything to them. They did everything to me. They did something to me. And that's just,
and it's like your word is null and void. Like your word does not matter because what they say is right.
No,
no matter what you say and how you put it, you're gonna be in the wrong.
Right. Even my stepdad, he attacked me in front of my kids with a stick. And he was like literally hitting me and beating me with this stick. I was on the floor fighting for my life, girl, with this stick. And he was fighting and beating on me. And next thing I know, I weighed my options to call the police because this police had sided with my ex-husband already. And I said, I don't know. And that's a scary situation to be in at the same time, because these are people that are supposed to protect and serve and help you in these situations. And you can't call them to help you because they had already come against you with another officer and set you up. So I'm like, okay. I went out, stepped out on faith. I said, let me call anyway, because I need to see how this going to play out. When I called, they immediately went to him. I called Noonie.
Right, and they go to him to get his side, get his story, make sure he's okay. Yeah.
A bunch of men officers showed up, number one, which I think was all wrong, because not one woman was on the scene. And then on top of that, the supervisor was even there. And he was talking to all of them, and all of them was crowded around him and talking to him. And then they came over to me, and the man started asking me, "Oh, do you have are you schizophrenic? Do you have mental illness in your family?" I said, "Sir, I don't even know my family." I say, "Do I look schizophrenic to you? I don't know nothing what this man is talking about." I said, "I called you all because this man was beating me with this stick in front of my kids, and I was trying to fight him off of me and stuff." So they was threatening me basically, because if I wanted to press charges, they told me they'll take my kids, and both of us was going to go to jail. So that again was a win-win, lose kind of thing. All because he let them know, "Oh, I'm a Miami-Dade County trans worker." Throwing their badges and throwing their job titles around and getting their way, Noonie. Getting their way. And here it is. You tried to unalive me in front of my kids.
I have definitely heard about that. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
And to not have nobody, that's what I'm saying. To not have nobody all my life stood up for me and fight for me.
Right.
That's why I'm where I'm at right now. When God isolated me, and enough was enough for me. They can call me lonely. Good. They can call me depressed. They can call me stressed. They can call me miserable. They can call me whatever they want. Enough is enough for me. Enough is enough. I'm not going to date anybody else and give them an opportunity to finish off anything that they started.
There you go. There you go. Like we talked about last week, focus on you.
I'm focused on getting my kids. And even with that, they keep trying to come. They was trying to come at me. You understand? Trying to come and take my kids. He tried to tell them I didn't have nowhere to stay. From the time I had my first child, somebody told him I had nowhere to stay, Noonie. And the DCF people try to hold my child from me. Talk about, "Oh, you got nowhere to stay." I say, "Sir, if I get discharged with my child, you can personally take me and I will show you where I stay with my child." So they was like, "Oh no, we can't." And thank God I had the people in my life that I did at the time that was more support than anybody else that people would think was actually supporting me, and they wasn't. And that's how me and my baby ended up leaving that hospital. They tried to take my baby from me. After the tales and the story I heard about my birth mother and didn't even know my birth mother knew me. And for me to be going through these things that kind of similarly match up to what she's gone through, and I'm not even her. I'm not even like her. I don't even know her. You understand what I'm saying? I've lived my life trying to prevent every tale that I've heard that they've told me. She's dated all these men and she was out clubbing and they drugged her, this and that. So I was always cautious about going out. I would rather go out by myself sometimes than to be surrounded by people that was going to allow things to happen to me, or allow somebody to drug my drink and things like that. And I felt like I still ended up in this whole scenario where they trying to say, "Oh, I'm just like my mom." And I don't even know the lady. I heard nothing good about her. But yet when somebody gave me an obituary when she passed away, all in the obituary, I'm reading how she was a store owner. She was an entertainer. Like, she was well known in Miami, Florida, and things like that. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me these things?
Right.
Why I had to find out all these things in the obituary?
Do
So
you
I just
now?
think to
I know you
myself,
got I know you got kids. Do you have a son, Miami?
yeah, I have two sons and I have a daughter. And that's who I've been fighting for. I just want to see them have a better life. I don't want them surrounded around toxicity. I don't want nobody else to come and try to make them think that abuse, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, any of it, emotional, is okay.
Are either one of your sons like at a dating age or anything like that?
Yes, my I have one that just turned 18.
Hmm.
So, but they've all gone through this phase where they were like my youngest now, who they were like 9 and 10, 11, 12, and they had like these little girlfriends that they met online playing video games or in a school and things like that. And they had like little crushes on them, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
And they find out later on that, oh, like he got crushed real bad. He really liked this girl,
Welcome
and
in, Kodo.
he found out that one time they brought up her name, and they said, "Oh, we know her. She's a Fortnite, like everybody. She's done tried to talk to everybody. She only using you for your V-Bucks or whatever."
Oh damn.
So he was crushed, girl. And he was like sad and like he went through a phase. I couldn't even console my baby. I didn't know what to do as a first time mom with a boy going through something like that. I just had to weigh it out and see. And he went through a challenge. He gave me a run for my money.
With raising boys and them being in the dating age, and like I said, I've been through that. My what year is this? 26. So my oldest will be 26 in a few months, and my middle child, which is a boy, he just turned 23 in November. So I felt the importance to like talk to them about the pressure that women put on me. And that's what we're talking about. Do you feel like, or have you ever thought that you needed to have that conversation with your boys?
Well, I had the conversation with them. And they understand now. Even like the youngest one right now, um, he has like all my boys always had all these little girls after them. And I always tell them like, to be respectful
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But also to just wait. But I never left them alone like that, where they would end up getting themselves caught up in something that, was like oops.
Mm.
Or call it a helicopter mom, call it, you know, mama bear, whatever it was. Like I felt like it was my duty because I've seen too many eras in my childhood and other people's childhood. And I was the one that's like, I can't see my sons going down the same path.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like right now, my 10-year-old is saying I got a girlfriend and she's like 12 years old.
I'm like, you
Um,
sure do have a friend that's a girl. Like,
That's what I do. That's what I tell him. But when he's talking to his classmates and his friends and stuff, they say it's his girlfriend. And it's like at some point, it's like I try to give him that little space. But
mm-hmm.
I come in and I talk to them. They know. I talk to all of them. And I told them, you guys need to focus on school. Don't be trying to go and do too much and go into adult content and adult stuff and
Right.
cussing and stuff. I said, bring that cussing down. I said, you don't want to get into those bad habits of cussing as you grow older and you keep that habit. That's going to grow on you. And that's something you're not going to be able to break. And you don't want that growing up as an adult. And you can't go out in the world and get a professional job or know how to be professional because you done program yourself with this habit that you have to cuss every time you speak or everything you say. So I'm on them the best I can, but They growing, you
Yeah,
know.
they definitely growing. And especially with the oldest one. It's like you have to have the conversations in levels when they're growing up.
Right.
Like I never would have imagined to have this conversation with my son at 5 or 10 or even 12, but they make 12-year-olds different these days. So you got to kind of
Uh-huh.
you got to stay with the times, and cuz times are different. They
Mm-hmm.
make these girls different these days.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget. I was in no, I had already graduated high school. I was still in with my mom, and my bedroom was between apartments, and it was like a little grass. You know how you had the grass between apartments. And I could hear these little girls playing in elementary school. They out there playing ha 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 ha. You hear one little girl say, "You gonna let me go around the corner and tell you then?" I said, "She gonna do what to him?" Like they make these little girls different these days. I was too
Mm-hmm.
through. So like by the time I was of the age to have kids, and my first one was a boy, I was like, look, let me start talking to you about this, because what we're not gonna do is have these little girls out here playing you like crazy, doing X, Y, and Z, because they make them different these days.
Right.
And
Even
so,
when I was growing up, we were that I was they were about to jump me because they little boyfriends or whatever had like this thing for me. But I wasn't even like I wasn't doing nothing, you know what I mean? I wasn't doing nothing, y'all. I was just going to school, minding my business, and I guess the boys was like crushing on me or whatever. And these girls they just like how they are today. They're so insecure, even though
yes.
their mother gave them everything. You understand what I'm saying? Here it is. I had a stepmom that was giving me hand-me-down clothes and shoes and things like that. Their mom was putting them in all the best shoes, getting their hairs done. They even had nails. They was up to date with everything, and you so insecure. You got all of this. You got the popular boy. Your mom and his mom, they're like Betsy's. Y'all, y'all basically they say when the parents already got the marriage off for these two. Like basically that's what
Mm-hmm.
is going on. Like y'all parents already signed y'all off. Y'all gonna be married and with kids. Why would you get upset by you seeing him looking at me? He didn't even talk to me. He didn't say nothing to me. Just by them looking at me, these girls were threatened by me and they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to jump on me.
Put yourself in, to try to stay on topic. Put yourself in a scenario of how would you want your son to react if, when he's at the age to take his young girl out, and a scenario takes place where he feels that he needs to be the man, he needs to be macho. How do you feel like you would address that conversation with your son?
Well, I would hope that he meet a woman or a young girl that won't persuade him into trying to show he macho to her.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because by him already knowing his mom and know what I stand for. You understand what I'm saying? Like I already told him, like you ain't no coward to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him from elementary display what you're saying. He had girls picking on him and he didn't do anything. You understand what I'm saying? I remember he was at this school called Skylake, and um, he came home to me. He said, "Mommy, there's this girl. She keeps kicking me underneath the table." I went through that too in elementary. So he said, "I said, well, did you?" I told him, I said, "You find one person and you tell them, whether it's the teacher, the security,
Somebody
another
to know.
teacher, somebody. Tell an adult, tell us
Mm-hmm.
that." I said, "You can't find your teacher or whatever. You tell somebody else. You go to somebody else, principal, somebody else."
Mm-mm.
And I told him straight up, I said, if nobody doesn't do it the third time this, I said, you do whatever you have to do to defend yourself, son. So, and that's what happened. So he came back. He said, "Mommy, every day this girl was kicking me. I told someone nobody did anything. She came back again. She kicked me again. I did nothing, Mommy. I told somebody again. The third time she came, he said he threw milk on her. He poured milk on her, Noonie. Would you believe they called me up and they was like, "Oh, Antonia poured milk all over this little girl." I said, "Excuse me?
Right.
You
And you
calling me
done
because
nothing.
he poured milk on her and this little girl has been taunting him for days, picking him during lunchtime underneath the lunch table, and he's been telling the staff and nobody's doing nothing about it, and you come calling me about milk he poured on her?"
That's crazy.
And that's what I'm telling you right now. From me raising him, he's not soft or anything, because I know my son. He's not
Mm-hmm.
soft. But I've raised them to respect women. I've raised them not to put their hands and raise their hands to women.
Mm-hmm.
Even with me. Me and him have our back and forth, and he know. He know, don't put your hand on me. Don't do that. Don't put your hand on your sister, none of that. So from young, he displayed that, I was raising him to go down the right path. And I just pray that as he get older, as a grown man, he don't deal with women that's toxic or
Right.
women that will put him in a scenario like that where
And
he has to put his life
that's a
on it
key
on the line.
factor when raising your sons. Like, they need to know they don't have to settle for these toxic girlfriends.
Right.
They can have better, they can get better. Like, I'm gonna say something.
Duty, I give him tough love sometimes. Like
Like,
I tell him, I said, if you don't start at, like, even if I say you don't do for yourself, like you don't learn how to cook, you don't learn how to iron your clothes, you don't learn how to wash your clothes, you just might end up finding a woman that'll do all that for you. And guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna talk down to you.
yep.
She's gonna disrespect you. She's not gonna see you as a man. She's gonna, she's not gonna love you the right way.
Because what I've come across with my boys, like I said, they're older, so they've had a few girlfriends here and there, but the last few, these girls think they their mother, and I have to tell them, he's been raised. That's why you here with him. You like what he's become. They've been raised, but these girls these days, they think they're the boy's mother, and I'm like, no, it's a boundary.
Right.
So I don't want you to deal with a toxic situation because you don't have to. You're
Right.
valued more than that.
Mm-hmm. Because all it's going to lead into you're going to be in a domestic violence relationship. And it's going to get serious and serious every day.
I'm trying to get this guy in here because I wanted a man
Perspective.
perspective on this topic, and I can't get him in here. I don't think I can get him from this page.
Never seen it. Now I've seen it played out, but I think it's probably because maybe these guys wanted to let another guy know, that was something could have been personal that they
Mm-hmm.
already had brewing, and they was just waiting. Like you said, they was waiting. I wish, and that's what just happened.
Yeah.
And some of them, they trigger happy too.
Yes. Like, and people don't go to the old school fighting and brag about it to tell a story. They don't live that lifestyle no more.
Right.
Like, that was the era of, yeah, I can step and protect my women. We can do that back
Right.
then because
Right.
they knew, hey Nate, they knew how to take an ass whooping and talk about it the next day, whether you were the winner or the loser. And you know what
Right.
happened? If you was a loser and you was a sore loser, you can go fight them again.
Right.
But
Is Nate
now,
the
now
guy?
it's just a one-sided story. We ain't even fighting no more. That's the sad part. So no, I
Right.
don't want my man to be the macho man and risking his life to prove a point. Y'all hold on one second. Y'all hold the conversation down for me for 1 second.
Yeah, I had to go get me something to eat real quick.
I said Maddie that went on mute. Maddie that went and got her something.
Yeah, I had to go get me something to eat. I told Noonie, I said, y'all be going late in the night. I said, I be tired. So I said, well, you know what? Let me turn my camera off and get ready for the bed and get me something to eat.
Yeah, I know that's right.
But yeah,
I've been feeling well this weather and been back and forth, my allergies, all kinds of stuff going on. So I've been trying to isolate myself and avoid anything because this whole flu and influenza, what is it, influenza, whatever it is, that's been going around too.
Yeah,
it's still out there.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah, and like you said, you was talking about your the weather up there is back and forth. It's like it was like 80. It was like supposed to snow on Sunday, and today was like 80 degrees out here in Virginia. So this weather is crazy right now.
Yeah, so I've been trying to just protect myself against all that. I'm gonna wear a mask next week, all next week.
I know I've been seeing a lot of people with masks on lately. Yeah.
Yeah, Kings, welcome in. Looney left, and I'm not nobody. You a mod, Maddie? Because if anybody wanted to come up, we can't bring nobody up.
Oh, I don't know. You should Noonie be having me in here doing stuff, and I have no idea.
Let me see. Yeah, you are. She made you a mod, so like, if King, oh, there she go. If because I know she wanted a male perspective. Who's King came in?
Oh, he was trying to join.
That's what I was trying to see if we could have sent him an invite.
You know, I halfway don't know how to use this.
Yeah, Noonie, but it's never been a pretty sight with those situations growing up when I seen it too. You know, all those men trying to step up and defend those women before you know it, especially when they out in the clubs and stuff.
Right, that'd be the part right there when they out in the club and you know, I just feel like I said, you sometimes if you gotta be the punk, you gotta be the punk and walk away. But you walking away.
And
you're not getting caught
it's hard for me
away.
to talk about this because I did lose somebody close to me behind this type of scenario.
Yeah.
It's not fresh, but it still feel fresh just talking about it because I can still like hear him. And I hate to say the words, but she wasn't even worth it. Like all the way around, like she wasn't worth it. But that didn't stop him from being macho to protect her name and to protect her at the moment.
Yeah. That's sad. Sad.
My little alarm just going off.
Breathe, take deep breaths in. I was in here crying too, letting it all out, you know. But you know, I took some deep breaths, get those tears out. I had to jump back in there, go back, you know, bring that back, let you know, like, you know, was in those situations that I felt like, hey, you know, I ain't even carrying your baby. And you got these women calling, threatening, and talking about what they're going to do to me.
Like that's a line of violation. So Shima, I think you went out to get your food when I was asking Miami. Like, and I know like the environment that down in there. Have you felt the need to, thank you, Mary, to have the conversations with your sons about the pressure women or female at their age put on them to be their protector while they're out?
Yeah. So
Mary, you want to join the conversation? Come on up.
Yeah, so yes, I have always had those conversations, like, know when to walk away, just in general with just in life. It don't necessarily even have to mean with a female. I said, you know, know when and walk away. It's okay to be that guy. You know what I mean? But you also don't want to be. I understand sometimes you don't want to be like a punk, but you have to like read the situation on what's going on, because sometimes people will taunt you and do it purposely just cause, you know, because
Mhm.
you know where I come from, New York City, it was a lot going on, a lot of just like fighting from projects to projects, people to people, boyfriend to girlfriend, girlfriend to like light skin to dark skin. It was some thing, and so I always put it to the perspective of with all my kids is like, you know, I tell them from the experiences that I had to when I grew up. Like I did not care if somebody called me out my name or something, and I stood on business. Like, I don't care, you can call me whatever. Don't put your hands on me. You know what I mean? And then keep it moving, because you know, back in the days, they had the Decepticons and the Deceptinets, and you walk down the street just because you look in a certain way, they will slice your face. They were slicing people's face back in the day. So sometimes being a punk is okay. Sometimes being a punk and walking away, it's okay. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And luckily my kids haven't had, and not that I know of. I'm not gonna say luckily they haven't, but not that I know of had situations like that. You know, where they had to protect their women honor, and you know what I mean. They haven't had that. Like I said, not that I know of, but yeah, I always talk to my boys and my girls like, listen, you need to come home every day.
That
Every
part.
night.
That
You need to
part.
come home every night, and you need to assess the situation. You don't gotta be no brave king. You don't gotta be no brave like get the braveness comes when you walk in that door. That's the brave. Like
Exactly.
if
And you know,
anybody,
it's sad to say, I've seen and witnessed mothers put their sons in these situations.
yeah, yep,
Like that to my core hurts. Like I've never, I know my boys don't play about me, but I've never been like, I'll go get my son. Don't worry about it. My son will take care of you. I've seen that.
yeah,
You know what, Nani? The stepmom I had, she did that. She used to like whenever she got into any altercation with any of her boyfriends or whatever, she'd tell them, I get my sons to whoop your ass.
And let me tell you something. To say that, like, if they feared your son, they wouldn't be fucking with you like that anyway.
Right.
So you saying that, what that's gonna do other than make them want to go get your son?
that part.
Cause trust me, men fuck with women that they know they can fuck with. Well, they know they don't have nobody else. They don't care who in your life.
Yep.
Like,
But
mm,
Looney, the craziest thing, this was the same man she told us to that she used to tell lies to her sons whenever she showed up with a black eye. She
mm-hmm.
used to tell,
Playing
oh,
both damn sides. Playing both
right, like
damn sides.
I went to open the refrigerator and I hit myself in the eye. I'm like, well, I went in the cabinet. What you did? What? You was drunk, high? What? How you managed to hit yourself in the eye with the refrigerator, though?
I have this friend. Like, I've never seen her with any type of bruises. She got a boyfriend. Then I started noticing bruises on her. I talked about it. I asked. I said, what's going on here? Made up excuses. You know, people know situations because I was one. You can't just attack them. You just gotta let it go.
Or let them
I
come to you?
Yeah, I kept seeing bruises, but I kept acknowledging them. I'm letting you know. I'm taking notes. I'm not gonna come to you hard, but I am taking notes. She stopped fooling with him. Bruises stopped. She gave him another chance. Bruises started. At this point, I'm talking.
Right.
We having a deep conversation, because what we're not gonna do is sit here and allow this to keep happening. One, you're worth more than that. Two, he needs to know and be aware somebody else love you and care about you and got your back.
Right.
So yeah, she was playing both sides.
Well, I'm glad you was there to stop it. She didn't have no.
I'm not
She
saying I was
probably
there to stop it. I
well,
don't
like
I don't think
say
she's
something.
right. Because sometimes when people keep making up excuses and you're like, oh, okay, you go along with it, they keep making excuses. So I made it uncomfortable for her to come around me with them bruises. Like I'm
Thank you,
peeping,
Nola.
I'm
Hey,
hey
Nola, baby.
Nola. Like I'm peeping the situation, I'm seeing what's going on. And I'm slowly talking to her. I'm not saying, oh, you should leave, you should get out. But the conversations I had with her led her to, okay, I'm done with this,
Yeah.
which I was happy for because I didn't want to have those conversations because going through it myself, you don't want to hear it. There's a certain way you got to address those situations. And I think I addressed it properly. But yeah, I just like until like even when my sons get married or settle down, it's still hard because I said it plenty of times. The females are just different. They're just different these days with their values and what they expect from a man.
You know what? Now that I thought about it, but I don't think it was so much my oldest son, his dad. I don't think it was so much about me. I think he had beef already with the dude. Dude was his neighbor, and from time to time, I think they were beefing. And when I met him, I was struggling to walk on my own. The doctors couldn't really like tell me what was going on, why I had lost the ability to walk on one side of my body. And I had to use a cane and stuff. At one point, I was even in a wheelchair. And when I met him, I was on a cane and I was struggling to walk. And he came to me and he told me that him and the dude got into something because the dude was making fun of how I walk and said something smart about me. But again, I didn't see it. You understand? And it would have been a difference if I seen it played out. Only thing I seen was how he was reacting, and he was like, "Oh, um, he turned the music up loud. He was playing music to like, I guess, get his attention." And he kept going pacing back and forth, and like somebody better talk to him. And he was like beefing with the dude, but I didn't know really if that was all for me. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember him coming to me telling me that, oh, the dude was making fun. He was talking about, oh, that's why your girl walk like this and stuff like that. And he said something to the dude about it. I guess he wanted to throw hands with him. Oh. But they ain't never really got into no physical altercation that day. It was just a lot of back and forth, changing words.
Hold on, let me in my YouTube real quick. All right, Tubies. It's been real for our drink to that Wednesday. We were just chatting it up on men and violence and the roles that women play in it. Overall, women, a man is a man when he comes home. Don't put your man in a situation where he feels that he has to defend you. Of course, we all want a protector. We all want somebody to love us and to be there for us. But at the end of the day, we want to still cuddle them at night and kiss them in the morning. So be kind to your men. Be kind to your sons, your husbands, your uncles, your daddy, whatever man in your life. Don't pressure them to be your all in all provider because he might not make it home at the end of the situation. So, again, until next week, I'll see you all next Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe for notifications. Subscribe to YouTube and TikTok. And I will see y'all next week. But right now, I'm going to stay on these TikTok streets. So if you are over there, meet me over there. I'll drink to that. Oh, that's not touchscreen. Look at me. There we go. You'd think I learned how to work my own devices by now.